Every episode of The Gauge is brought to you by Bill Fick Ford and the WCRA
and Lonesome Rider Coffee.
Guys, Bill Fick Ford is the #1 Super Duty dealer in the country for the 4th year in a row. You guys have heard me rant and rave about Bill Fick Ford for the absolute best buying experience in the car industry, truck industry. Bill Fick Ford's the place to go. I bet you remember the old ad where I said I was getting a new Super Duty. Well, here's the keys for that. Bill Fick Ford delivers, guys. No bull discounts, no bull interest rates, the best buying experience you can get. And if you are not local to Huntsville or the Houston area, he'll deliver it to you just like he did to me. Bill Fick Ford. If I say, who wants to be a millionaire? Would anybody not put their hand up? Of course not, especially in rodeo. Well, thanks to the WCRA, the dream of a $1 million purse has finally come true. You can win $1 million by nominating your rides and runs and earning points with the WCRA. Through the Triple Crown of Rodeo, the WCRA will award a $1 million cash prize to any athlete or collection of athletes who wins first place in any 3 consecutive WCRA major rodeos. $1 million up for grabs, which is pretty much unheard of. Rodeo Corpus Christi will be the very first stop in the 2021 Triple Crown of Rodeo. The event will pay over $540,000. Yes, I said it, $545,000, and will be held on May 6th through May 9th. There will be 0 entry fees. That's right. You don't even have to pay to enter this rodeo. The only thing you have to do to qualify for the Triple Crown of Rodeo event is by nominating your rides or runs with the WCRA. Here's the common misconception with the WCRA. It's just for the pros, for the elites. Well, if you can hang with these people, but maybe you don't want to commit to pro rodeo. I get it. It's a big commitment. The WCRA is made for people like you because you can enter these events, nominate your rodeos, and win crazy money, just like Rodeo Corpus Christi and this $1 million we keep talking about. To learn more, just visit triplecrownofrodeo.com. Again, that's triplecrownofrodeo.com to see how you can earn a spot at Rodeo Corpus Christi and possibly be the rodeo's next millionaire. Pow!
Guys, if you're like me, you are literally running your entire life off of coffee. One thing I've learned is that I've become a coffee snob, and I'm very picky about where I get my coffee and what I drink. Can't just drink any old coffee. Lonesome Rider Coffee is one of the few out there who truly produces a great product. They are a family-owned and operated, veteran-owned and operated business. They do great things in their community. They've got charity partners where they donate 25% of their proceeds to that charity. They do branded products with each of these charitable partners, and they receive 25% of the donations from the proceeds of that coffee. Guys, they're great. Lonesome Rider Coffee has some of the freshest and best coffee I've ever had, and it can be delivered directly to your mailbox.
And don't forget to go to lonesomeridercoffee.com February 8th through the 15th to get their Valentine's Day promotion. Use the coupon code LonesomeLove at checkout for that nice little discount.
This is The Gauge with host Chance Conradu.
Are you freaking serious? It's Conrado. This is The Gauge, and I am Chance Conrado. On this episode of the podcast, we have got Lee Pedone, which is Ryann Pedone's brother, and he used to bareback ride and he's done a lot with rodeo. They had the most winningest bull in PBR history, and he kind of branched out, got away from rodeo for a little bit, went to New York, went to culinary school, and started this booming business called Mack Truck with a pretty neat partner. And if you're wanting to know what happened with the FBI and Ryan, well, Lee talks about it at the very beginning of this podcast because Lee was in here while we were doing all that. And funny thing is, we were talking about doing the episode with Lee before Ryan, and all that stuff happened, and it just worked out perfectly. But it's an interesting one. It's a lot of fun. We had a little bit to drink. Ate some macaroni and cheese, which is hard on them guts, but check it out. All right. So here's what's fun is you were actually here. The amount of people who are like hitting us up on Instagram and stuff saying, because the podcast, I don't know if you listened to Ryan's.
Yes.
You heard where it ended. It was like the biggest cliffhanger in the world for a podcast.
Yeah. The FBI is at the house, and what do we do next, right? So,
yeah, that wasn't a stunt, by the way. I had a couple people ask if that was fake. It's
real.
This is Ryan's brother. It was absolutely real.
Yeah, it's real. A lot of people talk about it and, laugh and joke, and that joke turned into reality a couple nights ago. And, hey, here we are, getting asked by the FBI from being at a rally. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you just kind of were explaining to me exactly what was going on, which I think was our number one question. That and why didn't we put it on YouTube? We normally put them all on YouTube, but we're like, we're going to get demonetized in a second if we put this on YouTube.
Well, just touch base with her today, and she was on with her lawyers, spent all day with them, but man, they were really more intrigued of, hey, what she did in the horse world, and they just told her, say, look, they were more positive, probably more than what they get recognition for. Ryan was like, wow, they were actually great people, and we're just trying to piece this together. We looked through your photos. We're just trying to say, hey, if they did let them in, we're investigating why. You know what I mean? Like, okay, if this is really wasn't an incident where we're bashing down the doors, okay, now, so now they're patching it up, and they're actually really nice and helpful. My sister said, shoot, I spent all day with them, and they were great.
I mean, that's crazy. So let's say that the FBI determines that they did, in fact, open the doors. I mean, there's so many people who said they were there who saw that. I mean, it's got to be pretty much a hole in one for that. It's like, yeah, we have tons of pictures of those doors being open. Like, what do they expect to happen?
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, we're all mind boggled right now about it, and it's kind of sad. You see in America and with different brands, especially with our brand, and how we're portrayed or perceived by who you support, and that's ridiculous. That's not America. That's not what I grew up loving this country for. I have great friends from all over the world and all over the country from different perspectives. And the one thing they said, Pedone, you're a great person. Nobody would have guessed, how your political views went. But, and it shouldn't determine your character of a person,
No, but we're living in a world now where there's literally calls to blackball anybody who's a conservative person. Right? They don't care if you're socially liberal or what. I mean, like, dude, I'm like the most socially liberal conservative ever, and I'm sure you are too. But, start a food truck in New York, you're probably going to be slightly socially liberal. But,
Well, yeah, and then, I mean, that can kind of go into, I guess we can kind of go right into how how I got to New York.
Yeah.
Kind of, where do you want me to start?
First, what do you do?
So we have a food truck company and also a Mac truck distributing company. We have Mac and Cheese, so it's a Mac and Cheese food truck company. Started in New York City in 2012 by my business partner now, Don Tesserrero. And we have a Mac truck distribution company, which we started last year, that we get to mass produce and ship it all over the country. So hence the Mac truck. So we're in the mac and cheese business, and we're a craft mac and cheese, a premium mac and cheese. I'd say we're kind of like the rock star of mac and cheese right now. I mean, if you kind of can label us, we've took the country style, home cook, everybody sees from the good old Southern days to
putting lobster in it and all that. I look.
Yeah, and the crawfish, the bacon, the brisket mac, and now we've made it a craft that now we're hitting all these major markets, big companies, Fortune 500 companies, big craft barbecue houses, and say, hey, look, man, here's a base. Here we can cut your cost. And, we're not just the everyday mac and cheese. We consider ourselves as a rock star brand. So we started to got in New York City. My business partner, Don Tesserrero, is a chef. Great chef, was on runner-up to Food Network's Next Biggest Star. And how I got to New York and involved in Mac Truck was, I've been in everything. So I'll kind of take you back a little bit now. Y'all kind of know I'm in the mac and cheese business.
Are we like going to peeking out of your mother's womb?
Yeah,
what are we doing here? Another drink, maybe some more mac and cheese if we're going there.
Obviously you kind of know Ryan's history, right?
Yeah.
Florida, the whole dairy farm industry story. But I college rodeo for Vernon, Texas, rode bareback horses. I'm sure some of your people that follow y'all know. And pro rodeo. I had a ranch. I was in the ranching industry in Northeast Texas. Bought and traded a lot of cattle. And then we were in the buck and bull business. So we're good friends with J.B. Mooney, Casey Hayes. Casey Hayes was my business partner in the buck and bull business. Mike White. So we ended up raising and owning a bull called Closing Time. And it's funny how that story, he's the winningest buck and bull in PBR history. We're nearly $700,000 in career earnings. Take that back. I college rodeoed and lived with Casey Hayes. So, I mean, the stories could go on and on. We could sit here for hours, you know, talking about old rodeo stories, but I've always was the chef in our house, you know. So I always loved to cook and found that passion. And after my happily divorced came after the bucket business, I pursued that dream and traveled to New York City. So,
I mean, dude, that is a wild thing, and you and I actually have something in common, is that you obviously, like me, you hit this crossroads rodeo, right?
Yep.
And it was like, okay, do I want to go that route and possibly be broke as hell, or do I want to try to go a business route? And I chose business, and so did you. So that's why we can have good conversations, because we both kind of chose a similar path. But I'm just really interested in how somebody so dang ranchy gets to New York.
oh, but that
Was that your phone?
yeah, that was my phone.
So you and your sister both interrupt the show with phones.
I was thought I had it tucked away. But yeah,
You can totally pick it up if you need to. This is a very relaxed podcast. We consider ourselves to be the rock stars of the rodeo podcast. Big time.
well, I mean, you know, we
Someone called us the white panties of the rodeo podcast. Yeah.
well, we shoot, man, we, you know, I was going down that route. 2008 was on my road to making the NFR and the bareback riding. I mean, I was sitting pretty stout, winning everywhere, and injuries kind of stopped me from doing that. And then I kind of like checked myself. I was like, all right, do I still want to go down this road, or, you know, it's great to make the NFR, or do I want to take my passion and my entrepreneurship and check out a different road? So that road led me down to, you know, commercial cattle and trading those, to owning bucking bulls and partnering with Casey Hayes and getting the winningest bucking bull in PBR history, 700,000, and taking that route. And I'll do anything, man. If I believe in it and take that route, I'll run with it. You know, you can ask Shane Proctor, world champion bull rider. Everybody says, Pedone, what are you up to next? You know, you're going from living in Paris, Texas to downtown Manhattan, you know, and shoot, man, if it's something up my alley and I love it, I'll pursue it. No matter what the cost is, I'll make it happen.
Yeah. I mean, from what people have told me about you, because I never met you, I mean, that's basically what they say about you. Yeah. And then she'll drink somebody out of their whiskey. But other than that, I mean, the mac and cheese is impressive. And this whole thing, I mean, so how did you even meet the guy to kind of get this business going?
So when I pursued, I have a little girl, 6 years old, and she's a barrel racer as well, following Aunt Ryan's footsteps, Kendall Pedone. So I chose International Culinary Center, downtown Manhattan. Did the meeting. My good friend I lived with on 47th and between 10th and 11th had a penthouse suite overlooked downtown Manhattan. It was probably the best way to live in New York City, right? Everybody goes to find a dream, and then everybody finds their dream and living in a little hut, you know? And I was thinking, dude, if I'm going to do it, we're going to do it to the tens, or I'm not going to do it at all, you know? Luckily, I had a great friend up there. She's the executive producer to Beat Bobby Flay. So she called and said, hey, Pedone, you know, bunk with me, got your own room. I'm always gone. She's on Netflix shows and stuff, so she goes, you got to meet a good friend of mine.
Literally everybody who might be from New York cannot relate to anything you just said.
No.
They're like, I had to spend an arm and a leg to live in a shit box.
No, and I can't say that, man.
Yeah.
We had a penthouse. I mean, we had a huge patio outside. I mean, I looked at Times Square every day. I walked past it every day. It's 2 blocks from it. We saw, you know, on New Year's Eve, the ball dropped from our apartment.
Dude, how depressing was it on this last New Year's Eve? It was a joke.
Well, you know,
God.
Everybody was like, I had a lot of people worried about me, like, oh, Pedone, you're a cowboy, and who you are, and you're going to Manhattan. Like, oh my gosh. You know, I mean, everybody was like, what are you, crazy? Or how are you going to live like that?
It was like a Woody Harrelson movie.
It was. And shoot, man, I just tackled it, dude. I packed my bags. I flew up there the day after Thanksgiving, and matter of fact, she called and she says, "Hey, the key. I'm out of town, so the keys are at a bar at 52nd and 8th." I'm like, "Do what? 52nd and what?" You know, like I was literally. It was literally like the story. I pull up in a cab. I'm like telling the person, "You can't leave yet. I got my bags in there. I gotta get these." Like, and I was waiting for like I come out and like the cab leaves, you know, with all my stuff gone. So. that didn't happen, but I did get my keys and get moved into my apartment in Manhattan. And dude, I just rocked it, man. I was like, what can I find? What can I do? And what can I get myself into? And I want to do food. I'm going to one of the top culinary schools in the country. And I'm going to find my passion, and then I'm coming back, you know. So I went up there, and I flew back every other weekend for my little girl. I was on a flight every day out of LaGuardia at 6:30, landed, and met my little girl, spent 2 days with her, fly out Sunday night, and back in school on Monday. So how I met Don Tesserrero was through there from Manhattan. I spent, quite a bit of money to go to this culinary school. That thought I was going to do like a farm to table type concept, use my rodeo background and kind of mold everything together. And lo and behold, a pan of mac and cheese came in front of me on New Year's Eve. And I ate it, and I was like, holy shit, this is the best thing I ever had, you know? And this little short guy, Italian stallion from Staten Island, talks like just right out of the movies, Pesci, from Casino and all, just straight out of it, talk just like
Staten Island dump.
Staten Island, New York, how's it going? What's up, guy? Just that kind of, character, mobster character, and nothing like it. But dude, we like clicked it off. It was like a long lost relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, dude, are we related? You know what I'm saying? My dad ever visited New York? Because we hit it off perfectly. And he told me his I'm sitting here thinking, dude, I spent all this money. I'm going to the top French culinary schools, fine dining, going to the finest restaurants in New York, eating, tasting, going in their kitchens. And I'm looking at a mac and cheese truck that I'm going to pursue that route. And my entrepreneurship started putting everything together, and shit, man, we got a meeting two weeks later from the time me and Don met, and told my business concept and that I wanted to be his partner. And he said, hey, here's what I'm looking for in a partner. And boom, a month later, we're business partners. And 6 months later, trucks came to Texas.
Crazy.
Yeah. So,
dude, it's just the wildest story to me, and I relate to it so much because, dude, how often do you get like, nah, you're not a cowboy. You don't look like a cowboy. Pedone, you don't look like a cowboy at all.
I
get that all the time.
I used to have long hair. So, yeah. I mean, I'd pull it back. I didn't care, dude. I was whatever. I'd wear the belt buckle in the city, and I got to be a lot of good friends there. And they were just, I had some, good friend end up being, he's in the reserves, and he was in culinary school, a black gay man at that. And he said, dude, we got to be good friends in culinary school. And he said, first thing he goes, dude, when you said you're from Texas, and I could just tell like you were the Southern Texas kind of Southern guy. And I was thinking, we can't talk to that guy. Like he said, and he's like, dude, did I ever be wrong? I'm like, yeah, man, dude, I'm super friendly. We get out there, and I love to meet people. I want to hear your story, you know what I'm saying? And like, let me go find this place out, And I felt like I went to New York City, and I conquered it, My business partner is the same way. Like, he met Texas, you know what I'm saying? He heard everything about the South, and here I was, like the glowing light in the room. It's like, here's Pedone, and it's like, dude, we hooked up, and away we went, And you sell the story, the food truck story, the New York City, vibe. It's fast paced, it's hard working. A lot of people in the South, go back and ask me like, oh my God, you must have hated up there. I'm like, no. It's like, really, when people found out who you were, and I was like, true New Yorkers are not what TV says they are. True New Yorkers are like, dude, we work hard for our money. We're passionate about what we do. And we just, we like people that are straight up, no bullshit.
Which is why so many New Yorkers have left.
Exactly. They're all heading south.
Yeah, they're all going to Florida and screwing up our Florida area.
Yeah. Well, not the bad ones. A lot of Staten Islanders are going south, and I'll take those guys behind the battlefield any day of the week. Those are some scrappers. The Staten Islanders, I would say it's the Texas of the Northeast, of the 5 boroughs. Everybody hates Staten Island. Oh, Staten Island, this, that. Dude, those guys are great. It's like family up there,
Yeah, Staten Island is like, if you watch stuff from that, like I just watched this movie. I don't know, it was on it's like Prime or something, and they were talking about how Staten Island's underrated, and I was like, I've never been up there, but that's what you're saying.
Well, like I said, my business partner's from there, and dude, it's like Texas.
Dude,
man.
half the cast of Jersey Shore's from there. I'm sold. Dude, I'm sold. Do not underrate the 300th season of Jersey Shore. I still watch that crap, and I'm unashamed.
That's hey, I tell you what, Don would probably kill me for saying that, like, but yeah, they, in the summertime it's all tank tops and it's hardcore Italians, and
Dude, it's funny. My business partner is super like Guido too.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Yep.
He's evolved away from like some of the white pants and the hair, but he's still just like, well, what are we doing? Why are we listening to house music? It's 3 PM.
He's the same way, and he's fast paced and he's a go-getter. When he first came to Texas, we officialed our partnership at Billy Bob's, and there's a famous sign. I think they took it down, but shook our hands there at that deal a couple years ago. But took him out there to Ryan's ranch to kind of see everything, and I was like, hey man, we're fixing to go down here and do this. He says, well, I need to get some tools, and I said, what? And he says, well, what are we fixing? And I said, what are you talking about? So no, we're fixing to go down here to, look at the horses, help Ryan load some horses. And he goes, yeah, but what are we fixing? And I said, we ain't fixing nothing, man. That's just a Southern
turn of
term.
phrase.
Yeah. And so now everybody bust them up there up north about, he says it too. Hey, we're fixing, he's starting to pick up that Southern lingo, he's come down here a lot and starting to, hey,
you'll be like, yeah, when we say, yeah, buddy, around here, it doesn't mean what it means for you.
Exactly. Exactly. So like his first trip, he had like some penny loafers on, he had some nice kicks as we like to call it, right? So he had some nice kicks on. He steps in the first pile of horse crap, and he kind of looks at it, and he's like, "What? Oh my, he's like, dude, what?" He's like, "What am I going to do?" He steps off.
Not the Versace loafers.
he steps off, takes them off, and throws them in the back of the truck. He says, I said, what are you doing? We're washing off. He goes, dude, I'm not packing that shit back up with me and going in my suitcase. You can have them, just throw them away. Well, I'll throw on my sneakers, So I took him to NRS and stuff, kind of got him broken in. He looks, good guy, looks good in a cowboy hat, So
yeah. So looks the part.
Looks the part, acts the part, yeehaw, knows how to say yes ma'am, no ma'am. So
that's a lot for someone from Staten Island.
Yeah.
He's just like, do you know who I am?
Exactly.
Do you know where I'm from? I'm from Staten Island.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
That's how they are. That's how they are, man.
Everyone
They're very
I've
like
ever talked
upfront
to.
and into your face. One of the cool things, the vibes we bring on the truck, and I know we're kind of like talking all over the place here on this story.
No, dude, that's what these are all about.
Right? So, like, one of the fun things we do on the truck, and I learned from Don, was somebody come up and, in Texas, they don't catch it. In New York, they catch it. So in Texas, they come up and, hey, what's this? What's that? We tell them, oh, you mind if I try a sample? I'm like, yes, sample starts at $8, beat it, bud. Go to Goodwill if you want some sample stuff. I mean, this ain't we ain't giving stuff away here, So somebody's like looking at, boy working for me. He's like, you can talk like that to him? I'm like, yeah, dude, that's part of the vibe, part of the game that goes with the truck, samples, what do you think this is? You know what I mean? I can't feed samples to my family, get out of here. You waited in line for 30 minutes to ask me for a sample. Sample starts at $8, bud. Get in or get out, So you learn that kind of lingo up there, that's just
Nobody in Texas would even ask for a sample, though. That's the biggest difference, probably.
no, this was in Texas.
Oh, this was in Texas?
Yeah.
Oh.
So, yeah.
I was still in New York.
No, this was in first time in Texas. We just brought that language down with us. Like, well, sample. We beat it, get out of here. So,
Yeah, dude, it's so funny because my buddy Sarah from Cowboy Channel reached out. She's like, hey, you got to talk to this guy. And all she did was send me is like your stuff, Mack truck. And I was like, yeah, cool, Sarah, but I don't really know why I want to talk to a trucker.
yeah.
I didn't even connect it.
Well, when Dom first started this business, it was Mack truck. So he had people come up and like, I need to buy some screwdrivers. I need some bolts. And he's like, what? He's like, yeah, this is Mack Tools truck. And he's like, oh shit. He's like, it's a mac and cheese food truck, man. Beat it. Get the hell out of here. You know what I'm saying? And so then it leads up to more and more different then we get people like we have everything's mac and cheese based, right? So it's pretty simple, guys. It's New York City's famous mac and cheese truck, branded DFW. This is our branch, right?
Yep.
So it doesn't get any more plain than that. Mac and cheese truck. And then our menu starts off with everything's mac and cheese based. So then it's like the cheeseburger mac or buffalo chicken mac. So we'll get people up. I'll take 2 brisket sandwiches and some French fries. And I'm like, what is it? Oh, you don't have a brisket sandwich? I'm like, dude, it's brisket mac and cheese. Brisket.
Yeah, was the truck not convincing enough that this is only macaroni? Is it not yellow enough?
Oh,
they're pretty yellow.
Yeah, it's really
like
yellow.
School buses.
And you can't, mac is, mac's the noodle, and cheese is a wheel of cheese, and they're all over the truck. They're the Crime Stoppers of America. Yeah,
macaroni ninja,
right
for
there.
God's sakes.
Well, they're Crime Stoppers in New York City, right?
Yeah.
They're like the Spider-Man. They seek out and defeat all the other bad food out there,
I mean, they have to.
And when they come together,
the governor's not going to do it.
No, absolutely. Cuomo, that's a whole nother story and a whole nother bottle of whiskey. But
we don't have enough whiskey to talk about that fool.
Dude. So yeah, I mean, and then the fun thing is, like you said, our little characters. They spin off. They do. They're at the rodeo. They're at Billy Bob's. They're the feature mac and cheese at Billy Bob's. If anybody out there wants to swing by the greatest world's largest honky tonk, pick up our famous mac and cheese. But dude, they're riding bucking bulls and fighting bulls. They're Wild West when they're in Texas. We do rednecks with paychecks.
Yeah,
and
that's
Mac,
important. The rednecks are needing paychecks right now.
Oh, dude, absolutely. And I tell you what, it doesn't stop that group of people getting out in the muddy water. I promise you. This pandemic's probably they're just like, woohoo, let's go do it.
Oh, dude, I mean, literally no one cares.
Yeah.
At least not from that neck of the woods.
It was so new. We were Derek Morris is created an awesome event, and they've done a really good, hardworking job out there. But dude, when they kept pushing and fighting through all the protocols, you can't have large mass people. Shoot, man, they did it. It was a huge success, and everybody there was just like, thank you for somebody standing up against doing a big event, and I have to give their hats off to it. They did a great job. Yeah,
that kind of prompts another question. What has it been like operating in New York this past year?
Well, when the first pandemic, when it first hit, the fake-demic, is how I like to call it. But when it first hit, we fed the front lines. So we were running around to all the hospitals, New York City's police departments, firefighters, and feeding them off the truck for free. And then we had some sponsors later on. It came on, some sponsors come in and helped us. But we were at the Javits Center, which was classified as, the biggest the Army came in, right, to help all these kids. So I'd called them, I'm like, Tom, is it bad down there? Zombies walking, and he's like, I said, how many people have you fed? He says, I haven't seen hardly anybody go in as a patient, but I'm feeding the Army all day. He's like,
dude, the Army was probably like, this is the best meal I've had in my tenure.
Exactly. And hats off, because we proudly support them. Our brand's backs the blue all day. And they, nobody went in there. And so I'm like, well, how bad is it? He's like, well, I mean, I'm not saying it's not real, but, whatever they're saying on TV about the Javits, it's not happening here. I'm here every day, So it was tough. I mean, we just were fixing to launch a franchise company. We just launched our Mack truck distribution company, and we were looking at, and we were booked every weekend. We were fixing to open up a stand in Colorado at the Rockies. We're having some meetings with those guys. Another stand in another
over
stadium.
Over at Coors Field?
Yes, yep. At the Rockies Field. Yep,
Coors Field.
Yep. And then we had another fixing open one in Chicago, was rolling that out, and we were booked every weekend here in Texas.
So what you're doing is you're offering a franchise package for people to come and purchase, and
a licensing deal with the stadiums, trying to we're just getting them up and rolling, and they operate with our brand, and then we step out of them, and then they can have the stadiums deal. So that's what we're doing at the Cotton Bowl and Texas Motor Speedway. And then we use the truck. So we were booked the truck events at most rock and roll shows, and then we were booked in those stadiums every weekend. We're crushing it. Things were going crazy. Flying all over
rock
the
and roll
country.
shows.
Yeah,
sounds like a conflict. It's like, oh, this dairy, shit my pants. Because that is some rich mac and cheese. Excuse the language.
It is. It's, it's a craft, dude. It is rich.
Dude, then I was like, I took 2 bites, like, there is no way I'm eating this all before the podcast or we're taking a break.
Yeah. Well, that's, a lot of people are like, they look at a price and they're like, oh, $15 mac and cheese with brisket. Like, oh, Jesus Christ, what are y'all doing? I'm like, dude,
have you ever been to Hard 8? Freaking spend $200 at Hard 8 on accident many times.
Well, they eat it and it's like they can't even finish it, Yeah, we were supposed to do the Rolling Stones concert and we were pretty pumped about that.
That would have been sick.
Yeah, it would have been odd. We had shit like that booked all year long, and right now we're on a ski mountain in Windham, New York, upstate New York.
Really?
Yeah, we're crushing it up there, dude. You shred the slopes and boom. When you're hot,
go to Colorado with some real slopes. See if you could set up a Vail or Steamboat.
Yes.
Dude, you would kill it.
Right next to the weed stand. So,
dude, that's what I'm saying. But be after the weed stand so they get the weed and
then
mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese. Yep. Dude, we are actually, it's
socially liberal.
Yeah,
socially liberal.
So, yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, it is what it is. It's legal in Oklahoma, and we have some good friends that are in the business. So, people just
so do I. I will tell you the quality. Like, not that I know. I'm too busy at church, but not that I know. But the quality in Colorado, from what I've been told, is way higher than Oklahoma. Oklahoma has to get up there.
Hey, I'm gonna plug his name, but Casey Hayes is just partnered up in a company. They're growing their own. I think you'll see his brand coming out sometime in the next few months.
Really?
Maybe he might give Colorado a run for their money. Hence, plug there for.
Yeah. Where's he going to get it from is the question.
The typical place, California.
Afghanistan?
They're just the original spot, it's
the
like
very first.
The original spot, but
Jihad to table.
Exactly, right? He's on it, can't tell all his secrets, right?
Right.
But dude, we are looking at Colorado, those mountains, Vail and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's something
crazy.
we're making a run at.
What about California?
Haven't hit that market yet. We had so a good friend of mine was the executive VP for Rockstar Energy Drinks, Mike Kelso. He is, he's been entertaining. Well, I mean, before this was something like, hey, dude, I think we had to put a truck out here on the beach. They're doing music festivals all summer long. You can plug the truck right in. He wanted to buy it and then have somebody run it.
So we expanded our business to California this last year.
Well, it's so tough.
That's why I'm like, dude, with the amount of people here, like food trucks, that might be the play.
Yeah. And mac and cheese. I think it'd go because the weather's cool.
Great. You just shit right in the ocean.
Yep. There's enough trash out there, so.
Yeah. It's like record number great whites. I might draw them in.
Yeah.
There's a little blood in that from all the dairy.
Oh, God. Yeah. Gee. Yeah, that one's a little, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is an explicit podcast, especially today. I apologize, people. I think I put too much Tito's in this cup. The producer Ty is shaking his head at me.
Yeah.
We're probably not going to have a pastor on anytime soon.
No.
That's all right. It's 2021.
I don't know why I'm signed.
The world is on fire.
The world is on, anything can go at this moment, but yeah, dude, that's, that's kind of what we're doing now is, and like I said, come from that rodeo background and just really we're taking our brand down that route. We sponsored Taylor Broussard in the bareback ride.
Yeah.
Zeke Thurston, we co-brand a lot of stuff with Rockstar Energy Drinks.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, obviously Ryann Pedone, right? And then you met Jody Miller, girlfriend.
Yep.
We sponsor her. And we started a high school rodeo team as well. So it's kind of
dude. That's what's so great, right? And that's our whole hook, right? Is when we say we were like, "Is this a rodeo podcast?" No, it's inside the Western lifestyle. So if there's any hook, it's like, well, how can you make food trucks and rodeo? Because the dude who started the food trucks rodeoed. That's the hook.
Yeah, and Texas is more open to like getting a hold of the right people. Like. In New York City, you can't get a hold of anybody. Everybody's like, "What? We're not going to hook you up." Everybody's kind of selfish on that. And then you come here, and our brands with 95.9 The Ranch. Justin Frizzell is a big promoter of ours, and I've met. I couldn't ask. We do a lot of stuff with The Ranch at their big Ranch Bash.
Yeah,
big concert festivals for them. So. They've been a great help, and just Pat Green. We fed during the pandemic, some other avenues. We fed all the nurses, 600 nurses there with Pat Green and Justin Brazil at Cook's Children's Hospital, another partner of ours.
Right.
We sell mac and cheese too. So, yeah, I mean,
You guys are diversified. You're gonna give Kraft a run for their money.
we are trying to, Kraft is like the normal, right? And then
Hey Ty, what'd you have for lunch? Your late lunch.
I had mac and cheese cups.
Kraft,
Yes.
Dude, that's embarrassing when there's
hold on, I get another drink.
gourmet. Blow your mind, mac and cheese.
Also, I'm a college student, so
He is, but guess what? It's very affordable.
This
And
was free.
Yeah, and this was free. You can actually take some of that back to the dorm.
I'm definitely gonna take it.
No, you insulted the man with that Kraft mac and cheese. That's all going with me.
I didn't know that he was bringing food in.
He told us he was bringing food
Yeah.
when they were in here 2 nights
Well, he
ago.
told you. I was
You don't
busy
listen,
Doing,
yeah.
I was doing other stuff.
Well, we part
He
of
was
our
so scared of the FBI, dude.
was he?
Oh, they're gonna come for us?
Hey, I was trying to make sure that our door didn't get knocked down.
It was unlocked. They could have walked right in.
Walked right in.
Yeah,
never
they weren't going to
know.
knock the door down. I don't think the FBI is a knock the door down kind of organization, unless
That's
like
CIA.
you're a cartel
yeah,
or
they're
something.
gonna take you out.
Or they're raiding your place.
Yeah, I mean, what are they going to get in here? Nothing. That sign that we paid a lot of money for, nothing.
I don't know. I think that Johnny Cash poster.
That's
could
not
be
what I'm
something.
talking about. I'm talking about the little mini sign right by you. No.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that one.
Yeah, that one that represents the big signs.
Like
that
the
we
big
put up at
billboard
the PBR
signs.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is about you. Sorry about that.
That's fine. But yeah, we're trying to educate people. Like, dude, mac and cheese is cool again. Everybody's so used to that cup, Kraft, add a little water. We're not about that. We want to. We're trying to make the food truck scene cool again.
Dude, why don't you use Trump is gone. Steal his tagline. Make mac and cheese great.
make it,
again.
man? Somebody did use that. I saw.
they?
Yeah, they're doing some kind of says make cheese great again or some shit. And I'm just like, well, dude, that's a pretty good punchline. But we're running down that route. What like at the NFR, our number one seller is a crawfish mac and cheese.
Was it really?
Yeah, we were on the Anthony Lucia show about it.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, Lucia.
Yeah, Anthony. So I go way back with Anthony, and it doesn't look like it, but underneath this great bod, 50 pounds ago, I was a bareback rider, and I know we talked about it, but 50 pounds ago, Anthony said the same thing. He's like, look, guys, doesn't look like it now because he's mac and cheese and he's sampling food all day, but this guy used to ride bareback horses pretty damn good,
Anthony Lucia cannot be making jokes like that.
I know. Well, that's what he told me. He said, Pedone, see, look at me. You just become an announcer and a radio talk show host. It doesn't matter what you don't have to stay fit no more, But he was a youngster and he traveled with his dad. And we went to...
Dude, I know all the secrets.
yeah.
About Lucia.
Well, Bulls and Bronx. You remember those?
Uh-huh.
How old are you?
I don't want to say it on here. How old are you first?
34.
Oh, cool. Now I'm 29.
Okay. I don't know if you were way younger than I was when those things were on, Bulls and Bronx.
Oh, yeah.
And
It was not on my radar back then either. I didn't care. I'm a time event guy.
yeah. So you might have heard of them. I don't know if you did or not. Probably not. But anyhow, they're in big buildings. But Anthony Lucia came to them all with his dad and the Little Monkey.
Whiplash.
Yep, Whiplash. So that's how I met Lucia. So we go back since I was 15. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah, I love that dude.
Yeah, great guy. He's a character.
Dude, he's so funny. Yeah, the podcast that he and I did was just ridiculous.
What'd you do? What, team roper?
No, I tie down.
Tie down.
I team roped because I had to, but
Well, you're like probably one of the coolest tie down ropers I know. I mean, coming
not-
from the rough stock world.
yeah.
It's-
I like roughy. I like roughies. Dude, I get along with them.
college, we never got along. I think one of our biggest
I
college.
didn't college rodeo.
Oh, you didn't? One of our biggest college
Didn't
rodeo.
college.
Yeah, at all. I didn't.
A little
go.
bit.
I went to a little
Wasn't
bit.
for me.
Dude, I was going to have a master's in underwater basket weaving. Matter of fact, when I got to my second year of college, they're like, I was like, hey, give me some more of those elective classes, and they said, Pedone, you used them all, and I was like, yeah, but you can do some more every year, right? And they go, no, you use yours for a 4-year degree, you're done, like big boy time, get a real class. So I was like, shit. So I took it easy, and I got a accounting class. So I
Yeah.
figured, go the easy route, right?
Yeah, I did. I did college for. I mean, a decent amount. The most college out of my siblings, but yeah.
I can't say that. Ryan's.
Yeah, that's not fair.
Dude, we are told
She's too much in a good way, a great way. I love that about her.
There's people, some people, since she's been down that rodeo world, people go, how the hell are you and your brother related?
That's a great question.
It's like, things kind of, I've seen my wild side in my days when I was younger, and I can't say I had a great time at it. There's nothing I never did that I'm not, ashamed of what I did or how I met that person to do whatever I had to do, So,
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
yeah.
I
Hence,
think.
yeah. So hence that, and that's why I got great friends from all over the country that, shit, man, call me up, hey, Mac, and that's why they say, like, dude, what are you doing next? You know what I mean? Like, because I am passionate about what I do. And I love what I do. I wake up every day, and I think how it kind of sounds corny, but dude, let's change the world. And how do I get that mac and cheese in front of every household person, right? And get like your boy here, throw the cup out of the way,
Dude.
and grab some Mac Truck Mac out of that.
Dude,
freezer.
he is a culinary leper. Dude, he is not. He eats disgustingly.
Disgustingly.
You do, dude. Like I look
I
at
will
what
say
you.
I will say I'm not the culinary expert or connoisseur like you say, but I don't eat that bad.
Dude, you show up in here with like Panda Express and like those freaking poppers from the Whataburger. Dude, I'm a food snob.
Yep.
Big time. Big time. This dude brings embarrassing food in. It's all fast food.
I have the
You don't
metabolism
cook?
to go against it.
That's not the point. It's like, what are you missing out on, Chief?
Dude, yeah. So, you're missing out on a lot, dude. You gotta,
Dude, I'm a cooker and I'm a snob for like a lot of stuff you would not think a Western dude would be a snob about.
break it down. Tell me.
Pans, pots and pans, kitchen knives, all that.
So you love the culinary world,
Dude, I love the culinary world as much as I love like horses. I don't tell people that 'cause like, why would I pay $240 for a cast iron skillet?
Well,
Because, dude, it cooks the best steak. That's why.
Exactly.
Le Creuset, my fool.
Dude. I mean, I'd love to chop it up with you in the kitchen,
Dude.
and especially my business partner is great Italian. Like, I mean, he cooks. Like I said, he was runner up to the Food Network's next biggest star.
That's pretty
Tom.
cool.
Yeah, dude, he hit the top, and he did some really cool shit. Almost beat Bobby Flay.
Yeah.
He did that.
On that show on the Food Network.
Yeah, beat Bobby Flay,
I love that show, actually.
It's great. I have to give it out to Corey Frederick. She's the executive PD. She picks all the cast. She sets those
I'm
shows
surprised
up.
I haven't asked you to be on it.
She actually called me, and I was in school. She called me. She goes, "What are you doing this afternoon?" I'm like, "I don't know. Probably stop by and have a drink." She says, "Great. I need you to probably get down here, and you're gonna we're throwing you in a challenge." I said, "Excuse, do what? Do what? You're doing what? Do what?" She goes, "We're gonna put you on the. You got to go up against the first round and beat Bobby Flay." And I was thinking, man. She goes, "I'm gonna tell you what you're gonna make." I'm like, oh, shit. She goes, "Oh, you got a great personality. You'll figure it out."
Yeah, what was the dish? Was it something you were like, I'm not good with this, or what?
It didn't make a shit.
Yeah.
They were gonna give me a dish to just go in there and because somebody dropped out at the last moment. They ended up grabbing somebody else, but I was close. I was very close to being on the show, which would have been fun.
It's good for the brand, probably, if you can.
It would have been great. That was right before I got right a part of the brand, Mac Truck
Right.
brand. So, but it would have been a lot of fun to do that. And what's your favorite thing to cook?
I mean, a few things, but I mean, I really enjoy like just cooking steaks in my cast iron, to be honest. Or I'll go really, really nuts and I'll do like rodeo people just don't get this until they're done rodeoing.
Yeah.
But it's like you got to find other things. And so I figured out that not all kitchen knives are the same.
No.
So I got Worshoff Classics.
There you go.
Broke the freaking bank on those suckers.
Yep.
Le Creuset, everything. Slowly built all that up. And yeah, dude, I cook so many different things.
So some of those knives can get crazy. There's a and I can't remember. I can't name drop it because I'm forgetting. But it's a Japanese house. They have a store in New York City.
Yeah,
a lot of culinary chefs went there. They're not. They won't break the bank.
Yeah,
but they're a couple. $200-$300 a knife. So well, I mean, they can get on up there. Obviously, chef knives and everything.
oh, dude,
else.
it's crazy.
Dude, I'm talking about paring knives. $300-$400.
Yeah, I don't understand.
And for the culinary people, rodeo world that don't know what a culinary knife, it's just a smaller knife. Like you peel potatoes and stuff with.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I really got interested in. I'm just one of those squirrel people. Like, and if I see it, then I get obsessed about it just long enough to like be able to talk to anybody about it. And that's how the cooking thing was for me.
Dude, it's a pastime, dude.
It is a pastime,
and it's great.
Just like bloodlines with horses. It's like I get really into bloodlines, but then I can also like leave that for like 3-4 days, and then I'm gonna try to cook something ridiculous.
My greatest, like, just to escape the world, good bottle of wine, get me in the kitchen. I'm going to, grab a few things, do a couple concoctions, and then, kind of leave me alone for about 3 hours and just let me kind of hang out in the kitchen and make something.
Dude,
up.
it is super therapeutic, especially when like you can't go to a restaurant and have that same experience if you make like a great start to finish meal.
Right.
If you learn how to do that.
Exactly. Absolutely. But, and that's where my friends from the Western world have always, J.B. Mooney, Casey Hayes, I know we're name dropping again, but Sean Willingham.
Yeah, it's just people can connect them to what we're talking about, so it's okay to do that.
Yeah, so they, always me rodeoing with them, and I was the only bareback rider in the group, but they would come. I would always cook me and Casey Hayes.
Cooking out of a Capri camper.
Well, wherever I lived at the time.
Yeah.
Me and Casey went to college together, and then we had Kyle Cudmore, Sam Smith won the IFYR. Kyle Cudmore had been in the PBR finals, and we all lived together. And I was the cook in the house, So
Dude, absolutely.
I fed the family. You know what I mean?
So when you left, they were pissed.
They were pissed, but they always found me when they're on tour, and they'd stop by and say, "Hey, Pedone, can you make that great?" I'm real famous for my for my spaghetti. Well,
not for your mac and cheese. No
yeah,
shit.
yeah. I'm talking about friend wise.
Yeah.
Spaghetti sauce. You know what I mean? Spaghetti. We put a little mozzarella in there. You know what I mean?
You learned that from with Dom, right?
Yeah. So, well, me and Ryan are part Italian as well. It kind of. My granddad doesn't like to talk about it. That's a whole nother story. But I pick it up. I'm kind of proud of our Italian heritage just because of the food background and in my dad's side of the family.
Yeah.
Everybody can cook. Aunt Maria. She's makes biscotti and she just makes sick food. From scratch.
Oh,
all
absolutely.
Kind of pastas,
Dude, I got a funny story
raviolis.
about Italian heritage.
Yeah.
So my last name's Conrado,
Yeah.
as everybody already knows.
That's
but,
Irish.
What is it?
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like, hold on a second. I missed your sarcasm, which is odd for me. But
Yeah.
the whole thing was like this Italian pride in my family, just like what you're talking about. Like, oh no, Conrado's it's not Hispanic. It's not Spanish. Because everyone thinks it's Spanish. It's not. We're Italians. Well, last year when we were in Vegas, like my sister Ivy and I were sitting in the Uber with her husband. He doesn't speak, but we were sitting there and having a good old time. And she's like, you know what? Look, Ancestry.com is on sale. So we're sitting in the taxi. We took a taxi in Vegas because we couldn't get an Uber, which is a ripoff in Vegas. But the taxis are like they taxi you. It's ridiculous. But
It's a ripoff.
it is. But she bought this Ancestry.com thing. Like, we're going to figure out what's what here. And of course, it takes like 6 weeks to get those things or whatever. Did it. 0% freaking Italian. I had to tell like 3 generations, we're 0% fucking Italian. Excuse my language. We're not Italian at all. You ever tell somebody something and they no.
No. Yeah.
My dad, we were like, we're not Italian. He's like, yes, we are.
Yeah.
We're 50% Italian. It's like, no, we're 0% Italian. We're from Spain, buddy. So you've been telling everybody your whole life that you're Italian. 0%.
Well, Ryan did that. I was. They always tell us not to use our name back in the motherland, so that's all. That can get crazy. But in Sicily,
We're like some Godfather thing.
well, We are connected back to the Pedone crime family back in California back in the day, So
How far back in the day?
the early early 20s, I guess it would have been. Yeah.
Drop
So-
the P, add a C,
Pedone.
Capone.
No, Pedone, the Pedone. My dad's grandmother, and he'll probably kill me for even talking about it because he's just like, that's a. My granddad, Paps Pedone, Pap, he kind of shunned that. He didn't want that kind of background into our family. He said, "Hey, look, we're Americans," or just drop the Italian part of it. We're Americans. So my granddad really,
Yeah, back in those days, though,
was tough.
it was not cool to be Italian.
No.
It was not cool. It was like, dude, it was like a couple leaps and skips over Jewish at that time. It was really, if you get into history at all, like being Italian or even Irish, it was
rough.
bad time.
they told him he'd be nothing, and I believe he had 8 brothers and sisters, and they all were multimillionaires. And the whole time growing up, they said they would be nothing but more than right on the back of a garbage truck because you're trash,
Right.
And kudos to Staten Island. They're all Italians and the biggest population. And they all, what? One thing about the Italian heritage is everybody just wanted to work in America. We didn't want nothing. They didn't ask for nothing like they do. People nowadays, they just want to work. Give them the opportunity to work, and and live the American dream, which is really sad because you see America change it into, getting into a little politics here, and Don will kill me for, running the brand with politics, but getting the, going to politics is, you see a lot of kids, younger generation, younger as ourselves and younger, that they don't want to start nothing, they don't want to live this American dream. They want the goodies, right? But they don't want to work for those goodies. I mean, you're 29, you got a great famous podcast, you got a great trailer company you tell me about. You seem like a go-getter, an entrepreneur, an attack, and hey, I'm going to take what this world gives me and go after it. It's the same way, the way I look at it. I've jumped around in different things, but I've managed to conquer and been successful in everyone's, like the Buckle world. We did what nobody else could do with one bull,
Right.
Won the Triple Crown, the only bull to ever win the 3 major biggest derbies in the world. Still holds that title. H.D. Page and Dylan Page from the Page Buckle told me, Pedone, it's not that easy. Before I won our last world championship title, they said, Pedone, it's not that easy, and we're going to kick your ass this weekend. I said, shit, as much money as I've won already with one bull, I'm ready to retire. Shit, I'm done.
Right.
But
yeah, cool. You guys can have it.
you can have it. Keep after it. Good friends of mine, but I just set out to do something. When I find my passion, I love it. I just attack it, just like yourself. And
And people need to hear that, right? And in the rodeo world, we're used to that, right? Because that's what you got to do. If you're gonna make it to the NFR, dude, you're either all in or you're not in at all, because there's no middle ground, right?
And let's branch. Let's talk. Let's get into the rodeo world. Why we're on it, because my thing is, and to tell these guys, y'all got to learn how to stick together. I'm in, we do sponsorships, and let me tell you, I try to get my brand out there. So, our marketing budget's low at this moment, but when you're going after, and I'm telling everybody, you're a professional. I tell my sisters this all the time. You're a professional. I know you got a captive audience at this moment, but don't sell yourself cheap. I mean, $1,000 a month thing is not, I know we, and I'm probably going to get burned, and a lot of people might say, oh, that guy doesn't know what he's talking. I do know what I'm talking about. I'm just saying, dude, you work your butt off for this. You got a short window. Get the most money you can get out of it.
There's 2 sides to this coin, right? Because now you're talking 12 gauge talk with all the sponsoring stuff. That's how 12 gauge came to be. Exactly what you're saying. Cowboys not selling themselves short.
Yeah,
that's the whole premise of what the 12 gauge sponsoring thing was.
Oh well.
So yeah, we're preaching the language.
Yeah. So and that's when I try to tell my brand. I rode with. I didn't. It just didn't come Mack truck. It came with Rockstar energy drinks. Okay, so I was getting them some money and trying to. I was part of help bringing the first Rodeo Cowboys BRCA sponsorships to the table, and not that their son is like, hey, look, here's a great opportunity that you can get with the national brand that you can branch out and go get more money for. You know what I'm saying? And try to tell these guys, hey, don't sell yourself short for shirts and pants. I mean, come on, you know what I mean? This is a business, and you get a window of opportunity to do it. Jump all over it. You don't have to, if you need help, call somebody that knows, hey, I need a little help on some of this business avenue. And here's where, and I'm going to probably, but here's another thing. Here's where I think the PBR needs to step up. The PRCA needs to step up. You need to help these rodeo cowboys. A lot of them don't come from a background where, like my dad, that's a successful businessman, has a multi-million-dollar business, and very successful in financing and land and cattle and just real estate and how to manage your money. Me and Ryan were born, bred, and it was beaten in our heads with that, right? We had a great opportunity. A lot of kids don't have that in that rodeo world. And, here's where PBR and PRC need to step in, help your young talent, your successful stars to manage their accounts, A, to want to get the most sponsorship dollars for it, and B, to help protect their winnings. You know what I'm saying? Like, help them out. And they
more so in the PBR because the winnings are so much more than the PRCA.
Exactly.
That's the issue, right? It's like there's options to like hire managers and things like that, but you're at your PRCA 30 to, except for a very, very select few in every event. It's like, dude, I'm not giving anybody 10% to help me do anything. I can't afford to do that.
Correct.
So there's so many different angles to what you're saying. I agree 100%.
Yeah.
There's another piece to it, which if you sponsor a lot of people, like 12 gauge happens to, you'll find out it's like you guys also have to conduct yourself like a business. You can't just take the great sponsorship and then not promote for them. So there's two sides. Which if you sponsor people, you feel that pain sometimes.
Oh, I do. And then, a lot of, but yeah, you got to all right, you got to do your social media platform. You got to remember to plug them, that's part of the gig, And, from the time I was younger, getting in rodeo to the people in rodeo now, it's a change, they're taking it more serious. They're working out harder. The party aspects.
It's amazing.
Waking up the next day hungover and running your hand in a bareback rigging or getting on a bucking bull. Those kind of days are slowly dwindling around. I'm not saying a handful don't do it themselves.
Your boy,
JB
boy,
JB. You're the what do you call it? Last of the dying breed.
Yeah.
So, some of those guys that can still do it and ride the rankest bulls in the world, and I've seen it, but you're starting to see it becoming, and it's legitimizing where in against other sports that it's really come together. But I owe a lot to rodeo. I mean, rodeo got me to Texas. It got me the friends I have today. It got me the connections I have today, and that I can utilize and bring our mac and cheese company and tie it into the Western world, right?
Yeah, dude, having your truck at the NFR, it's awesome.
Dude, I shout out to Stockyard Heritage Group, RFD-TV, and Cowboy Channel for taking that leap and jump with us, and Brandon with us.
They're the ones who connected me with you.
Yeah, I mean, Sarah. Yeah. So, I mean, and they reach out. I mean, kudos to them, and kudos to that company and what they're doing for the sport of rodeo, and that's something that and yourself as well, getting a podcast, bring people like myself that had a background in it, that B1 Rodeo knew who I was and should have and did what I did in the bareback riding. But the funny thing is Terry Williams, 6-time PBR stock contractor of the year. You probably know Clayton Williams, been in the NFR and PBR finals a bunch. They knew me growing up. And IFYR and the high school finals, and I said, Pedone, we always thought you'd be, go to the NFR, And I said, dude, I told him, I said, they just didn't think it'd be, Ryan would be the, it was always I would been there, right. And then now Ryan was the one that went there, and so they call him, they said, hey, did you get anything in there in the NFR? I was like, oh, dude, I sent like a pen or something, Mack truck pen, or I got my logo in there, It wasn't me personally, but kudos to her for what she did and how she got there. And
yeah, dude, that was cool. And for how much she's like, whatever. I love that about her.
Ryan growing up, and I don't know if she ever hit, but Ryan growing up was not that winner mentality. It was complete opposite. It was me, that mentality, and Ryan would just put all this pressure on her, and she'd be like making the high school national finals at state, sitting third and everything, or top two, and just choke at the finals, And now, I get teary-eyed when she made that NFR. When she did what she did at Omaha, I was like, dude, you know, for my daughter to look up to you as a winner and like as a badass chick, finance degree, beautiful, independent. Like I tell my little girl every day that you want to be like somebody in life, you want to be like your Aunt Ryan, you know. And what she did is she's a winner, and she doesn't let pressure, you know, bundle her up and choke. You know, she cut that out. And those, to see her from high school days, to see her step in that arena and do what she did in Omaha to get to Arlington, to the NFR, and then take everything she lost and then still ran in that national finals and put a smile on her face for her sponsors. She was at autograph signings.
I remember hearing about that. It was just like, are you serious?
One beating after another.
How does that even happen?
It was a tough beating that, you know, who can overcome.
Yeah, and everybody, any barrel racer knows what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it because that's a tender thing to happen. But
it's tender, but it is life. It's okay. You know, that's just part of it. Makes us who we are, right?
Studs.
Yeah. And, you know, something good will come out of it. Ryan took it on the chin. She had her breakdown moment, and then finally, you know, kind of wiped the tears back and said, let's finish it. You know, we're here. We're not, you know, we'll worry about it afterwards. We'll do what we come here to do. And, dude, you know, I don't know if a lot of people know in this world, but what she did riding 6 different horses to keep the barrels up, to even place in the average with everything going on that didn't go her way, and, you know, and to make it happen, that to me, it's unbelievable. I mean, she tells me all the time, oh, you know, little man, you're full of shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm the soft one out of the group, but you know, she's you know, me and Ryan got a pretty close bond. She's one of my best friends, and you know, I can't, kudos to her for what she's done and achieved in a short term of this life.
Absolutely. You know, I mean, I love her. Her just unapologetic attitude is so refreshing.
You know, for once in my life, I'm dating a girl that Jody Miller, that she actually likes, because most of them she just kind of tells me, yeah, I don't really like you, you know, and it's kind of like, yeah, you know, but she just tells people like it is, you know. She whether you want to hear it, you know. And the first thing I ask, I'm like, you know, if you ask her, you get ready, because, you know, you're going to hear maybe a few F-bombs and just take it how it is. But, you know, she's well-educated, finance degree, smart, and you know, she'll take it. I mean, when she messes up, she's the first one to admit, hey. And that's why she's our ambassador of our brand, you know. Our Mack Truck brand's on her. That's who we represent, you know. We're our brand. We're not sorry for anything we do. You know, we're not apologetic. We're great at what we do. We try to, you know, we're trying to run a national brand here, so we play middle of the road, right, in anything we do. But, you know, if you want, you know, we pick people to be on our team that represent that kind of attitude, that will uphold the brand, the rock star group, the independent group, the person that's going to stick out amongst the crowd. We don't want the regular mix. We want that person that's outspoken, go get it, you know.
Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't talked to my sister yet. To
Well,
Ivy.
I know my budget might not be there.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Like I said, it's a tough marketing.
There's not a ton of $1 million 25-year-olds running around in barrels.
No, that in you know, speaking of pandemic, you know, we took such a hard hit. I don't know how your business took, but
Brutal. Absolutely.
we took a blow.
Lucky to be here.
Yeah, but me too. You know, and
Podcast blew up. That was good. But
Yeah.
the other stuff, it was, I mean, it's been it's not getting better.
No, we took a hard hit, and the crazy thing is, it's getting better. I mean, we got to launch our production company. I mean, dude, 2 years ago, we were putting pans of mac and cheese in Staten Island, New York, on a freaking pallet with frozen, wrapped in a box, stacking them. We didn't even know what we're doing. Okay, first of all, we don't know logistics. We're scratching our heads in Staten Island. I was like, Dom, what the hell are we doing? Just, I don't know. And Dom, you know, he usually will flip out, is like his little thing. He'll have his little Italian fit, and then he gets back on the job and ready to work. Him and Ryan got the same birthday, a little day apart, so they're an Aries, so they're a lot alike. You know, but they and we get it, and we figured it out. We shipped that mac and cheese for the first 6 months from New York City to DFW in pans frozen. And I mean, shit, our food cost was through the roof. It was like $4 a pound, to get it down here. But dude, we learned so much in 2 years, and now we ship it in a case all over the country, packaged, ready to go. It's just so cool. And then we got distributors distributing it. We got logistics with trucks and meetings all over the country. I mean, just crazy what this America can do. And I have to say, we wouldn't have got this far if it wasn't for the pandemic. I mean, we lost a bunch. Don't get me wrong. We were booked all over the country in events and foods and
Totally.
So we lost a lot of business, lost a lot of revenue stream, but now we're like regaining it by now we're got us where it's just funny kind of how the world works.
Yeah, dude. See, with me, it's the opposite. There's so much demand.
Yeah.
And our Achilles heel is the United States has outsourced all of its steel and aluminum to China.
Yeah.
And we're in that trade war.
Ooh.
So we can't get what we need.
Yeah, that's a tough blow.
Yep. So we got the people at the door, but can't service them. You can't service them, and you don't have the people at the door. I don't know. It's like the opposite. Whatever.
Yeah. Well, luckily, America has the oversaturated cheddar market. So
Yep.
we are.
You're good on that part.
We're good on that part.
Yeah.
So I mean, we see some. When the dairies had a dump this fall, we saw influx, and we're selling so much mac and cheese now. We're watching the futures on it, and so we're starting to trade that way with our buying power, and the companies that we co-brand with that pack it for us.
Sure.
So that's something pretty fun, and ties back into the dairy farm, right? From where me and Ryan come from in Florida. So it's funny, I went from like one Manhattan all the way back around to now I'm doing cheese from the dairy cow that I started on.
Dude, it's a full circle.
So I couldn't wait to run away from the dairy, and here I am back in the cheese market, which come from the cow, from the exact cow I ran away from in high school,
It's pretty fun.
That's great. We owe everything to a milk cow.
Yep. A lot of us do. Even your crap, that might still somehow come from a cow.
Well, with water, H2O, it's the cow drinks out of.
There we go.
Yeah. But
Dude.
we I don't how much time we got or keep rambling away, but
Well, okay, so what's so interesting is people were like, I already said this, but just blowing us up about that FBI thing. But I mean, you were standing here and we were all, even Ryan, like her demeanor changed. She was like, if the FBI calls, blah, blah, whatever.
Yeah.
And then they did, and she was like, okay, this isn't funny.
Yeah, you heard what she said. She goes, "Little man, did you do anything?" And I'm like, "What?"
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. She thought this was you pranking her.
Yeah, I know. And I was like, "No." Well, or she thought I did something, and I was like, "Jody Miller, are you 18?" No, I'm just. She's 26, by the way. But so no. But all jokes aside, it got serious, right? And people were calling me like, "Oh my gosh!" But Ryan took it on the chin and ended up being nothing really. Just, hey, we're trying to figure this thing out.
Yeah.
Looks like.
I mean, I really wonder what's going to happen in the next few weeks.
I mean, you hear everything, you read everything,
Which I don't know if that's the right thing to do or not. Do you read everything you possibly can, or do you bury your head? Because
at the end of the day, I believe in this great country. I believe that what comes out of what we've witnessed and seen is you're going to see somebody like, and Ryan is probably going to do it, but run for politics. So if this little happened in the last few months, has created people like Ryann Pedone to get in the race to run for your state rep or state senators, great. You know what I mean? I'll take that because she needs to be in politics.
She's got my vote. She is.
And she's going to get a lot of money back in her.
When she started going on that Thomas Paine deal, I was like,
dude, she's yeah. I mean, she's.
Like, how did you even memorize it? That was amazing.
She lives for it. I mean, barrel horses and politics is who Ryann Pedone lives for. She's loyal. You know what I mean? And and that's just how we were raised, to be loyal. And it's a shame that you can't publicly back president. I mean, in the Western world, you can. And our world, it's like. We get a lot of business doing different things, so it's kind of you got to play in the middle of the road. But at the end of the day, it's like, you know what? I'm an American. We're an American company, and it's enough's enough, and just like what's going on, censoring everything, and that's not America.
Well, and what's going to happen when you have people like Elon Musk and Tesla like speaking out against this? It's like, dude.
Well, we need Tesla we need you to hurry up and create that platform for us so we can get Parler back up on
yeah, dude, start the servers. Yeah, exactly.
Reboot it, and that's a great company. I mean, I love that guy. That guy's awesome.
Dude, he's awesome.
Talking about, his brother went to my culinary school.
Oh, no kidding?
Yeah, and started the farm to table market. So they just sold PayPal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And his brother, they sold it for like $300 million or something crazy. They're younger than you at the time. And then his brother wanted to go and start farm to table in Colorado. So he went to culinary school, International Culinary Center. So that was one of my fellow grads.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of how that went back, right?
Got a very unique hook on a lot of things for a bareback rider.
From a bareback rider out of Florida.
Yeah.
And
not a lot of those.
Not a lot of those, but Jared Smith went to NFR. He was younger than me when he went. I was probably one, was supposed to go. Life doesn't take, like, the Western sport has brought us into everything, right?
Literally everything.
This podcast, right, that we're here on today, the phone call you got, and you find your passion. And the cool thing about rodeo is, it showed me not say the world, but the United States, you know what I mean? And how to travel, how to grow up faster. All the rodeo kids in high school are always a little more ahead of anybody else, because we were on the weekends, we were going to a rodeo and then when you're 16, you're going by yourself, Shit, I remember flying out.
Some of us were going by ourselves before we were 16.
Yeah, well, yeah. And I mean, I remember I would go to those Bulls and Bronx where Anthony Lucia was, and I'd fly out. I would catch a flight Friday morning out of Tampa Airport, fly to Omaha, Nebraska by myself, book my own plane tickets, hotels, the whole damn 9 yards, ride. And my principal would let me leave as long as I kept the 3.0 GPA or higher. But I had to be on school no matter what on Monday morning. She's like, you can go do this. This is great. You're getting a 4-ride rodeo scholarship. It's great. So you can allow this to happen, but you got to be at school on Monday. So, the thing, but it taught you how to grow up faster. It taught you how to.
And how to handle adversities.
Dude.
It's the biggest thing that rodeo does, teach you how to handle adversity.
Yep. And it was a great sport. I'm glad my little girl's in it. I couldn't. Where she is. You know what I mean? When they're rodeoing, she's not at a party. She's not getting, driving home drunk. I'm not saying she won't ever do that. God bless her soul. We've all been there. But, she won't. You at least know she's at the barrel race or she's at the high school rodeo, and then she's coming home. And then we're going back the next day to go to the same place. So. One thing about my, thing is my dad, they always told my dad, I can't believe you spent all this money on these kids doing all this shit. And he goes, well, where's your kid this weekend? You're right. You don't know, he might say, but my kids, we're going to the high school rodeo this weekend, so that was something that it taught us gave us something to do and builds character, the ups and downs that comes with it, the toughness, the gritness, the cowboy way of life, I guess. And then kind of roll that into, not just be all yeehaw, but, luckily we had that balance of business background that we were taught to.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It worked out great.
And I think it helps us, the way we were raised, me and Ryan were raised to look at the world differently, and rodeo helped us get there. And my entrepreneurship of my background was like, dude, there's nothing I tell my little girl every day, look, you can do anything you want in this great country. Anything. Do not let anything tell you no. Don't think, when we look at, I can conquer the world, just give me the opportunity. And I'll find my opportunity, I'm going to, it's like I said, I didn't fly to New York just to come home and be a line cook. I was flying to New York to come here, and I was either going to pull somebody together and we're going to open a badass restaurant. Luckily, it was mac and cheese, and I found my passion and went down that route. But me and Ryan were raised, our dad taught us, you can do whatever the hell you want, hard work, being honest, and just attack, and rodeo world helped us get out west and brought us all of our connections that I still use today and value those close connections throughout business.
Absolutely. And more people from rodeo need to diversify and get into business when they're done, and they're starting to. And that's one of the number one things for me is nothing's more heartbreaking than seeing somebody be done with rodeo and not knowing what to do next.
I've seen it so many with my good friends.
That's the normal thing.
It's a normal thing. And it's like, dude, it doesn't have to be that way. You're meeting all these cool people down the road. Pay attention. Remember, create your contact list. I would always try to remember everybody, get their phone numbers, dude, because find your little niche, something makes you happy that you can tie into what you love to do, but don't just think this is going to last forever. And it's not going to last forever. Use those connections.
And people will use the money excuse, right? And here's what's like cool. You take me and my sisters. Well, we didn't have the financial backing, and our parents didn't set us up well, and because they picked a different path, right? My parents were no business experts. They were horse trainers, and that's not the best thing for raising kids necessarily. And we still figured it out, right? So,
right.
And the only way that I did it, I didn't have anything. It was just connections with people, literally just people that I had talked to. Same with this podcast, like all of it. It was just connections. So pay attention to who you meet. The only reason I've gotten anywhere in my life, just me personally, is based on the people I've met and then not being scared to ask them for something.
Hands down. I mean,
that's it. It's the only reason.
And don't be afraid to, if you see somebody in a crowd, oh my God, that's good. If I'm in that crowd, I'm going to talk to that guy somehow, some way. I want to pick his brain. Hey, look, give me 5 minutes. I want to ask you some questions. You built this. You know what I mean? I've got to meet some of the coolest people in the world. I mean, I pick the executive rock star, a company that just sold for $3 billion. That friend, I became good friends with him through rodeo.
Yeah.
I mean, when he was first, cool story, when they were first looking to launch into the PRCA, they sponsored Sean Willingham for big money at first, and I met him that route. And then a boy named Country was over their PBR group, but Mike was the bigwig. And when we did the PRCA, they called me and he said, "Hey, look, we're going to bring you in. We'll fly you to the NFR. Will you sit in on a meeting with us?" This was a few years back. And shit, man, Mike met me. He said, "Dude, I heard a lot of cool things about you, Pedone, business guy. Dude, we go in the meeting for one of the biggest contracts, a multi-million-dollar contract." And I'm sitting here in this meeting, and finally, Mike's like, dude, he'd stopped the meeting, goes, "Pedone, what do you think about what they're trying to pitch?" I'm like, do I? You know what I mean? I was kind of like, I didn't know Mike from now, but, those are the kind of people I'm meeting. Those are the kind of meetings I got to sit in on, Rockstar Energy Drinks got to the PRCA, and it was I was proud that I was part of it, but it got to the PRCA, not Arlington. We were fixing to do another big deal with them, but the one before that, the 2019 era, Rockstar's Kiss Cam and all that shit. If you were out there, you saw them sampling. I did that. I got that there, with Mike Kelso, of course. But that was something that I got to put together. And sad thing is, it was going to be, Mack Truck was starting to move that route now. That kind of, I still have those connections. It kind of lost that momentum, but we'll be back. We're back in there now.
Oh, absolutely.
Being's RFD Team Cowboy Channel took over, and we're starting to be a big part of the stockyards and kind of getting our brand and everything in down there, and trucks there usually once a month somewhere doing something. So, it all goes back, like you said, dude, just things you meet and just build the dots.
Just talk to everybody you can talk to. Doesn't even matter if it's for 5 minutes. That is the only advice I could. If somebody asked me for advice, which they're not gonna, but if they did, they would. That's all I would say. Talk to everybody.
And don't be scared to do it, man. Pull the dude. Do not be scared. You don't have to have I didn't have the resources to live in. I mean, like I told you, my hookup in Manhattan was just luck, right? And to fly back and forth, and I have a little girl, and I just lost everything in a huge divorce, and what am I going to do with my life? I'm 34. 3 years ago, I was probably hit rock bottom. Ryan could probably tell you. With a huge divorce, I lost a small fortune of everything I built. Didn't know where I was going. Started from scratch over again. Met Don Tesserrero, and now we're building this. I'm not saying it to be cocky or anything, but we're going to be a big time brand in the next 5 years, and looking. I'm not looking to just be something that I can enjoy and be a weekend warrior. I mean, we're going to be one of the household names. We're going to be what people, look at Kraft mac and cheese and Schwann's. They're going to say, dude, Mack Truck mac and cheese is the Kraft one of the group. And we're going to conquer, and we're going to kick everybody's ass in it, just because me and my business partner the same way. He's lost everything in a business deal. We're both scrappers. We both met each other. And it's like a new beginning, and that's what America lets you do, America lets you start over anytime. And then in the rodeo world, like you said, just because your career is ending and you're a badass and everybody knows you as Casey Field or Tim O'Connell, right? When you step off in that world outside of that, nobody gives a shit who you are. They're like, what? Especially in
They don't know.
They don't know
you.
They don't give a shit. But if you made those contacts when you were up in New York or doing that, all it takes a phone call.
It's enough.
Boom. And then it's enough to get you in the door, figure it out,
And Casey's one of the few guys who's trying to figure that stuff out.
Yeah, I haven't talked to Casey in 8 years.
Yeah.
Probably last time I saw him was, the short round in Tucson.
Yeah.
One of my last rodeos I ever went to. So what's he doing now?
He's got a few things going, a CBD company that he's partnered with some people on, a couple of these paintball gun things that he's got in Sportsman's Warehouse now. He's got a few little things in the fire.
I think he won the world or something too.
Five times.
Yeah,
5 times.
Yeah, nothing much.
Yeah, but I'm saying he used that to catapult those other things. Yeah.
And we had the winningest Buck and Bull in PBR history. It launched me into other things. I mean, I was in Chicago meeting with the state senator of Chicago. Was going to launch one of the biggest touring pro PBRs, partnering with them. They're using me as a consultant, all my background and everybody from Lambert and everybody, to put this big deal together. And just kind of cool that I get to sit in on these meetings now. I mean, with Rockstar, I made the phone call a couple years ago, the PRCA, who I can't believe they didn't do the deal, but talking to the commissioner, and made the phone call to, hey, I represent Rockstar Energy drinks on this deal, and here's what we're willing, what we'd like to do and put together, and went down that route. And just through those connections, and people ask me to, hey Pedone, can you help us connect this and connect that? And my job is to get in there and get after it, and meet everybody, use the story, use the background, use my rodeo connection. I wear a backwards hat every day. I mean, if you saw me today, and we're like, what the hell? This guy did rodeo, I was at the high school finals last year, and everybody, Jeff Collins and all them were there laughing because Mark Gomes were like, this guy was bareback great. And the kids, I sponsor St.
They don't
Peter.
get it.
They
Yeah.
don't get it. They're like, that kid didn't ride. I had a long ponytail, skinny jeans on, didn't give a shit. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, I kind of flipped the whole role, but, it just lets me be who I want to be, open,
I
free
get it.
spirit, and let's roll,
Yep, I'm the same way. I get it. And more people need to just embrace who they are and not worry about stereotypes.
Yeah, especially in the Western world.
100%.
Yeah.
I think that's a great place to wrap her up, because if we don't, I'm going to spill my guts on the floor. Actually, I just have to pee.
Yeah.
This has been The Gauge, hosted by me, Chance Conrado, produced and edited by our guy Ty Yeager. Shout out to the executive producers Dustin Pointer and Cody Denton. Marketing and content produced by Riley Chone. Our theme song is by Shay Ashshire and the Night Howlers. Make sure to rate and review this podcast, as well as follow The Gauge on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And make sure to subscribe to The Gauge wherever you get your podcasts. We'll see you guys next time.